used to have long hair, used to sing in a rock band, used to stay out all night long. Used to drink myself silly, go driving for hours, but now I'm moving on. Haven't played a gig since summertime. It's been 2 years since I've tasted wine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Drive real fast, speed to the nighttime, air and the breeze. Now I drive 55, wonder if I'm more alive. Have I forgotten to be free? Now it seems I'm a tired man, 19-year-old with 35-year-old hands. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. And lonely in this house. Oh, my friend, I have got to get out because I used to have long hair, race till my beer can was empty as my head. A good friend that beats you doesn't believe you. My good times let me down. Haven't smoked anything in 3 whole days. Maybe it's nothing, but it makes me amazed. And other than that, I'm feeling great. Other than that, I'm feeling great. Other than that, I'm feeling great. Other than that, I'm feeling great.
Hey, welcome back to Zach's Shop Talk. I'm Zach because that's the name of the show. So if someone else showed up, it wouldn't be that show, would it? It would be a different show, and it wouldn't be mine. That's a long explanation. Welcome back to the show. We are here now at 6:46 Eastern Standard Time. So you never know when the show is going to happen. You just have to kind of buckle up and just catch it when it happens, which is awful in the marketing department. But can't help it. That's the way I'm built, to be awful at marketing. I see we have some people in the chat down there. Everything HVACR. What's up? Foxbox 923. How's it going? Foxbox, are you Blaze? I can't remember. Blaze is a different guy now, so I don't know. Susie says, great jam. Thank you. You know, it's a song that I wrote like 25 years ago. And at the time, I was a long-haired person. Shortly after that, I cut my hair like a half inch with like the clippers, and I kept that for like 15 years, and now I'm unkept again. But back in the day, I had long hippie hair. I was in a band, so I guess you had to have that. And it's just a song I wrote called Used to Have Long Hair. And I don't know why I wrote it, but it's always been catchy to me, and it's kind of fun listening to something 25 years old. Like a lot of the songs that I've played in the past are 25 years old, because at that time, I was really into writing songs and stuff. So it was interesting because, it's because it's a different perspective. You know, perspective changes over time. So now I look back, some of them still make perfect sense. It's very prophetic by accident. But some of them, it's like, hey, you're way wrong on that. But it's just how it goes. Life changes from time to time. We talked about that last time. No need to go all, let's get on the therapist couch this time. Let's try to lighten it up a little bit. Talk about something else. Let me see here. We got back and forth in the stoner logic. Stoner logic. It is sort of stoner logic. I was never much of a stoner. In fact, as far as, smoking marijuana, that was not my thing. I was a drinker. Back in the day, but there was a block of time in my life that I drank super heavy, like every day, liquor every day. And not quite at alcoholic level, but if I would have kept it up and I would have applied myself, I would have been an alcoholic, but I couldn't even apply myself enough to be an alcoholic. So I failed at alcoholism. Who would have thought? being a slacker actually was a benefit. It's fantastic. So Susie says she's watching her grandkids right now. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know you had grandkids. Well, I guess I did know that, actually. How many grandkids do you have, Susie? I'm just curious. Let's get to know the people of the chat. I already know, Susie, but you know what? It's the interaction between chat and chatter that makes this special. I'm actually not even that integral in this process. I could just start a live stream and just sit here and like look at my phone, and you guys could chat the whole time. I really think that would be fine with most people. That's how it is. Susie has 3 grandkids. I don't have any grandkids yet. I have some children that are coming of age when they could do that. Now, if I put that in perspective, I was 24 when I had my son. Like I had him. I didn't do nothing. You know, I did the fun part. My son was born when I was 24. The twins were born when I was 27. My other son, the son that was born actually, he's 21 now. So he's getting close to that age when that stuff starts to be expected. Let's be honest, around here in high school, it's expected from a couple people. It happened to one of my friends. High school romance gets too intense. Having that baby. Yeah. Well, it happens. Life happens. The fun thing about life is that even though you make mistakes like that, which if you can call it a mistake, I mean, you have the child and you love the child, but you have a mistake like that, but it all kind of works out after a while. You have this ambition of what you're going to be. Let's say, for instance, you're Zach Ciota. That's me. And you're coming up as a teenager. What was I going to be? Sure as crap weren't going to be an HVAC tech. Wasn't going to work in construction. Didn't really know what I wanted to be, except for the fact that I wouldn't mind being the successor to Cal Ripken at the Orioles shortstop position. I love Cal Ripken. I collected the cards when I was younger. He is the Iron Man who broke Lou Gehrig's record. I believe that's right. I love Cal Ripken. Now, he wasn't that great as a batter. He was pretty good, but he wasn't great. But he was a good defensive player, and you could always count on him attendance-wise, which is good. When we say life, like 80% of it is showing up, Cal Ripken was really good at that. And that made him one of the best players of all time. I love Cal Ripken. Not as good, Billy Ripken. Not as good, Billy Ripken. But, you know, it happens. Susie says, not a mistake, but many mistakes were made by raising them babies. You know what? Life is a series of screwing up. I had no idea how much screwing up that I was going to do. To this day, more so. And you think you're going to fix it and be better at it? No. No, you're not going to be better at anything. You're just going to screw up at different stuff. Whenever my son Jackson, who is my youngest son, who is now 6, going to be 7 this year. Believe it or not, people who have been around me for a long time. Jackson's going to be 7 this year. I said to my wife, maybe I can fix what I did wrong with the other children. Not that I think I was a horrible father. I'd quit drinking by then. And I wasn't doing any backhanding or anything like that. Nothing more than the standard amount. And, well, that sounds kind of ominous. I'm a good father, okay? But I really didn't fix anything. Life gave a new set of challenges, put stress back on me. Same mistakes. Couldn't do anything different. Jackson 7, Susie. It's crazy. You know, people who have been watching this channel for a long time, first of all, wow. Find something to do. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you. But they saw Jackson. He was a baby sitting on my lap. In fact, I'm in the shop. And right through the wall here, with the wall of sockets, on the other side is where I was holding him as a baby when I was broadcasting. So it's right through the wall here. The only reason I'm right here now is because I wanted to be where I was working. Up at the house, it was just, we had too many kids. We had no more room for me to work up there. Yeah. Susie said she was a wee baby when she first started watching. I know Susie started watching, she's like, hey, this guy's giving away prizes. I'm going to watch this guy and I'm going to win some prizes. As sure as crap, Susie started winning prizes. So she stuck around, and now she just sticks around for the love. I just know after all these years, it's just for the love because there ain't no more prizes left. The prizes are all gone now. One by one, the HVAC streamers are going away. And now it's just Zach, and Zach's talking all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. It's come a long way. Time's a lot different now than it was back then. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I really believe that. I really believe the journey that we're on has purpose. Man, if I didn't believe it had purpose, I would be pretty pissed off right now. But I believe it does have purpose. I believe that We are given a set of challenges to help us grow. And I think that's the only way you can really go through life without wanting to jump off a building. Because if you don't believe that life has any purpose, then good grief. It sure is mean. It sure is unpredictable and unfair. So without purpose, that'd be hard to deal with, I think. There's stronger people out there that could probably deal with that. I would have trouble dealing with that. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, there was a few commenters that commented on videos of mine on the HVAC side, and they were talking about the video I made. Geez, it must be like 5 or 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, some amount of years ago. I was talking about autistic tradesmen. This doesn't mean just HVAC. This means it can mean any trade, mechanic trade, controls. In fact, I think controls are probably suited for autistic people. I'm not going to get emotional. I only get emotional off screen. I try to keep it off screen so I can keep this gruff demeanor. And it doesn't happen a whole lot. So those I get emotional over, you are indeed special, because I don't do it a whole lot. And it's really in particular circumstances. Happens to everybody I know, but I'm not one of the people that carries Kleenex around. That's for sure. And I darn well won't do it here live. That is for sure. I would sooner shut the thing down and run away. No, but getting back to the autism thing. My sons were diagnosed with autism. It's changed a lot over the years. They call it different stuff now. It can range from, you say, see, I'm trying to put this, I was thinking about this earlier. You can say that autism is something, and there's people that say that autism is not really a real thing. I see the points of both, and here's what I mean by that. I have autistic children. I'm not saying that there's nothing I could tell that is different about them. I'm saying that some people might say you have a particular mindset, you have a particular, or my timer went off, you have a particular mindset, you have a particular way you do things, and that way is what people call autism. So there. Everything HVACR, I don't think the entire field of controls is autistic. I just think someone who has that sort of propensity for numerical prowess, dang, that was said really well. I'm good at English. Numerical prowess, like, can you remember? Like every single temperature and voltage reading on a temperature sensor? Like, this is DC negative 4.3 volts. Well, must be 72 on this sensor. That sort of thing. I think they would be well suited for that. Someone who has that sort of photographic memory that can kind of keep all that information and access it at a specific time, even though they may not be able to socially interact, which I think is probably better for someone in controls than someone who is in like residential service trades. Like if an electrician comes to your house, you don't want him to be like, where's the unit at? Or where's the box at? Oh, hey, how's it going? Where's the box? You know, you want them to be able to interact socially. And sometimes that's an issue with those with autism. Not always, because it's a huge spectrum. They always say autism spectrum. Well, it can go from high functioning, which is like my son's, all the way down to if you hug me, I'm going to scream. I never talk. I don't communicate at all. It's a wide spectrum. So wide that it's kind of almost vague to say autism in this particular conversation. Maybe I'll say high functioning autism. Because if you have someone on the other end, they're not going to be working in any trades. It's going to be very difficult for them to find any sort of job or live on their own. They're going to have someone who cares for them, whether it be a parent or a medical staff or something like that. It's tough because there's all sorts. You know, I've seen people that, you know, autistic kids, when you try to hug them, which, think about it, it's your kid. You want to hug that kid. Maybe they fell down and hurt their leg. The first thing you want to do is pick them up and hug them. And the kid just screams and screams and screams. It's heartbreaking, but I do believe you probably get over that after a while, having to deal with it. It's one of them things where you have a child, and now there's testing for all sorts of maladies that you could have with children. But back in the day, you have a child, maybe that child has Down syndrome. And all of a sudden, you have to rewrite their entire history that you pictured in your mind. I know that would be a difficulty with me. Like my daughter, Mallory, when she was born, I picture, hey, she's going to marry some guy. She's going to grow up. She's going to have children and live her life. And if you have a child that's born with some sort of issue, all of a sudden you're rewriting that entire future in your mind. And it's almost like a heartbreak. Not heartbreaking for them, because I've never seen someone that's happier than Down syndrome people. They seem to be the happiest people on earth. We sort of mourn what doesn't ever happen. Doesn't ever happen. I was good at English earlier. You mourn for the life that you had planned for them. But when you realize how happy they are, how good-natured a lot of them are, you realize that they're actually having a really great life. And you have to get over yourself and let them have their great life and forget about the standard cookie-cutter life that everyone leads. Who wants that anyway? Who wants to be exactly like everybody else? I've never wanted to be like everybody else, even in streaming. When I started streaming HVAC stuff, I loved it. I loved interacting. But as soon as a whole bunch of people were doing it, I was like, well, this is no longer like individual. It's like a big clump of people. And I wanted to switch stuff up. So I changed stuff. I'd start the skilled trade up show where I gave away tools and stuff. I never liked to just sit there and be like everybody else. And that's not to say anything about anybody else, because they were doing a good job. And I didn't invent streaming, so I didn't have the corner of the market here. I just never liked to be like everybody else. I hated that. So I had to be something different. And something different means you're going to take some risks. And as you guys know, or you may not know, I take a lot of risks, and sometimes I crash and burn. It's just who I am, and I can't change that. Now, the little timer I had was to tell me that I needed to play one of the sponsor things. So I'm going to play the sponsor things. Then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about this and some other stuff. It is snowing outside here. What is happening here in North Carolina? It is Snowpocalypse 2025, and we'll talk about that and some more when I come back. Every time. Supplyhouse.com. Order supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple clicks at supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. Need help with an order? Get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team and talk to a real person every time. Supplyhouse.com. Combustible gas leak detector. Safety first. Find those leaks quickly. Are you in search of gas? Well, that sounds like an odd question, but many heating technicians are, in fact, in search of gas. And you want to find it with this Yellow Jacket 69310 combustible gas leak detector. Safety first. Find those leaks quickly. It has a fast response time. Quality product because it comes from Yellow Jacket. You can find out more at yellowjacket.com. All right, I have returned. Now, they're talking about Randy working in controls down there in the chat. We had a kid that was watching us. I'm guessing that's who they're talking about, that Torboli guy. And I want to say that that's the kid that Overtime guys had like the dog noise for. He had like a dog or something. I think that's correct. I'm not positive, but you guys could let me know if that's correct in the chat down there. We're talking about autism in the trades and just in general. If you go work anywhere and you have autism, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Now, my oldest son now says he doesn't have autism because whatever, I don't even want to say it was an issue or a defect because I don't think that's right. I think that he has just kind of grown up and learned the ways. I think autistic people can analyze how people react to them and over time learn what they're feeling. Like you look at somebody and they're smiling, hey, this person's happy. Autistic people don't quite see it that way, but I think over time you can kind of break it down. You could definitely break it down. Let's see here. Oh, you're talking about your husband. I thought you were talking about that Torboli kid or whatever. All right, so your husband's working in controls. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know he was in the trades. In fact, I did not know what he did for a living, I don't think. So good for him. Controls is a good thing to be in right there. So very nice. All right, well, that's good. I thought the whole time it was the other kid. So let's talk about something else. I think I wrote down a couple things because I didn't want to get on here. It's like, well, what am I going to talk about now? I will talk about this. Autism in trades. I got that part. Talked about the snow. It doesn't snow here, okay? We can go years without snow. And right now, outside of this workshop, I have my little heater in the background, and it's jacked up to medium because I don't like to use a lot of energy. Because in the shop here, I can survive on a relatively cold temperature. If we're in the upper 40s or 50s, I'll be just fine. Because once you start moving, I warm up. I'm getting to the age now where I have some issues with my joints, but it's not debilitating yet. Debilitating. We'll see. But it's snowing now. So the roof's going to be covered in snow. I'm going to get snow all over my shoes. It's going to track snow everywhere. Blah, blah. It's all pretty and everything. The kids love it. But after a while, snow's like, blah, get out of here. But it's supposed to snow several inches. So maybe if it does snow several inches, I'll put up a picture tomorrow on the YouTube posting thingy, and I'll show you guys. But the snow is coming. The snow's actually here now. All right, I wrote down heated workwear because everywhere I look, I see like Milwaukee M12 heated vest. Ryobi has their little USB heated seat, like for sports games, I guess, when you go sit on the bleachers. There's a lot of heated workwear. Now, I've never needed heated workwear because I can always find clothes that are plenty warm enough for me. Now, I say that. This is North Carolina, though. We rarely work at anything colder than, say, 15 to 20 degrees. That's pretty daggone cold. I don't know what you guys think, but I never got into it. I know Hart makes that stuff now. It's on sale all the time. I think because no one wants it. I don't know how much bulk having a battery in your pocket. I don't know how hot the battery gets, but I just don't like that idea. At first I was like, man, I might want to get some heated gear. It might be nice. But now I was like, I don't know about that. So any of you who have used that, put that in the chat because I'm really curious about how good it is. I'm going to cough now, so I'm going to mute my microphone. Here we go. It's wintertime, and colds and stuff, or I don't have a cold. I don't know why I said that. I'm trying to explain my cough away. I'm just coughing because I'm talking nonstop. So it's going to be a problem now. I'm going to get some of my drink. Sam's Cola. Sam's Cola Zero. It's so good and affordable. Because of inflation, these used to cost like $2 for a 12-pack. They're like $5 now. What has happened? What has happened? Well, we all know what happened. Well, we'll see if it undoes or what. So, Susie said ADHD in the trades. Now, I'm a guy with a little bit of ADHD. I can understand that. I don't know. You can take some meds for that. A lot of kids do that now. I don't know. I think there's things that help settle ADHD kids down. You ever watch Fast and the Furious? This is going somewhere, by the way. You ever watch Fast and the Furious? The very first movie, the kid who works on the cars says he has like ADHD or something like that. But when he worked on motors, it always calmed him down. I think there's a lot to that. I think if you get something that you're hyper-focused on, that you love a lot, it'll kind of tune you down so you can get into it. Maybe that's what the trades are. Let's see. Hey, new to your channel, do you do a lot of warehouse maintenance on HVACR? I don't do hardly any HVACR anymore. I was once a technician, and I was once an owner. Now I just talk about whatever, but there are guys on here that could probably answer that as yes. And I'm guessing that's probably everything HVACR up there in the chat. He has a channel. He makes videos. I think he's probably the ticket right there. I'm more of a talking head, and I talk to these guys right here ever so often. And we just enjoy each other's company and talk about whatever. But I would go to everything HVACR. He's probably the guy to talk to about that and other similar activities. So, heated vests, nobody heated vests. Susie, take care. Let's see here. We can wrap this up in a second. I want to show you guys some tools, though. I'm working on a video with cutoff tools. That's on my channel, Zach's in the Shop. And, hey, look, that's where I'm at. So, I recently did lighting. So I did the Ryobi USB light versus a HyperTough 12-volt light, which is too far away now. And then the third light was my Skill 12-volt light that I bought as part of the set a couple years ago. I really like the USB Ryobi stuff now, certain things, not the ratchet. No one wants the ratchet. It's just, you might as well just do like this with your hand. It's better. But I like some of the USB stuff. That light was really great. I crowned that as the winner, in my opinion. I like the USB stuff. I actually have this bad boy right here, which is a blower. this is nuts that there's a USB powered blower. And for those of you on the podcast, I'm sorry, but it has these USB batteries in it. And you can actually charge your phone with these batteries. You charge them with a USB-C cable. And they're pretty neat. It inflates and deflates. I used it for some of the Christmas stuff. It's not incredibly powerful, as you might guess. You know, if you're going to try to blow your leaves off, I hope you have a dollhouse with leaves in front of it, because that is not going to do it. But it's really convenient, and it's really small. And I like the light, and I like that little thing right there. They make a whole bunch of other hobby stuff. Nothing major. Nothing you're going to take to work in the trades and say, well, that's pretty good. You're going to crush it and destroy it. Let's see. I have a list of best HVAC guys on his channel. Thanks. Yeah, that's cool. All right, he has a good list right there. I said, I didn't make the list. You didn't make it on your own channel because humility, my friend. But I did. Well, there was once a time, guys. There was once a time when I did service calls, and I would try to do them every week, and I'd be like, wow, that video got 400 views. And I'd be like, this is awesome. I have made it. Now, guys, you got some great guys out there getting a ton of stuff, a lot of focus on HVAC. I will admit, I haven't watched it a whole lot lately, so I don't know if all the same guys are doing it. I was going to watch Overtime for the first time in a long time, then they haven't been on in a while, so I don't know if they're taking a break or what. But there's a lot of guys like Ted. I still talk to Ted quite a bit. I know Ted's doing his thing. He does a lot of great stuff that's anti-DIY HVAC, so I know he does some stuff. I can see that Everything HVACR is still doing his thing, and go to his list, because that's going to be your best bet right there. You can check out Steve Lab. I don't know if he still does it every day. I haven't checked it in a while. But Chris, HVACR videos, he used to be really, really big. I'm sure he's still going. But you guys can help out in the chat. Best HVAC channels to watch now. But once upon a time, I did a lot of service calls, which I think is the best thing to watch. I like doing service calls. Podcasts are great. But when I came up, I wanted to see guys doing service calls so I could learn from them, so I could see what kind of methods and tools they used. Tools are so important. Man, seeing new tools, everybody had to go get them. That's how we all ended up with S-Mans. That's how we all ended up with the Testos. Which ones are they? The Testo, I can't remember the numbers from. 570 is the nicer one. 550, Testo 550. We all ended up with all this stuff. HVAC School, that's right. That's good. And that's a podcast too. So you can listen to the podcast and watch that. And I know he's grown to it's almost like HVAC School is like the Mr. Beast of our stuff. He's got like a bunch of guys that all work together. He's got like this whole, I don't know what you call it. It's like a whole company built around that name now. Like what you're watching here with me, that's what you got. It's everybody. Here I am. That's everything. And you're going to get a particular perspective, and I'm going to talk about particular things, but HVAC School's got like so many people. They're working on so many things. They even have an event now every year. Just like AHR happens, which they're happening next month, AHR in Orlando, which is where HVAC School is located. So I wonder if he's still going to do his event in Orlando as well. I don't know. I haven't been to AHR in a long time. It was 2019. Had a great time, but I think I'm done with stuff like that. I don't really want to get back into traveling for HVAC stuff, and just not where I'm at in life. But it's a good experience for anyone still actively working in the trade. It's a great idea. You learn a whole lot. Everything HVACR says got a thing going on with Skillcat too now. So that's like a partnership with Skillcat, and I know I've gotten emails from Skillcat before. I remember seeing something from Skillcat. So I guess you work with them, and maybe you can tell us what that's all about down there in the chat right there. But here, I'm going to wrap things up. Maybe go to the chat and look at some of that stuff if you want that information. And if he puts it up, I'll read it out so people on the podcast can hear it. So here's some of the stuff that I've recently found. And some of the stuff is not all that exciting. But I love vintage tools. So stuff like the hand drill right here. This is just a vintage hand drill. And you can see, it's just... This one is not quite as fluid as that one I took to my shop. I have a little shop that sells tools, like power tools and vintage tools, and just standard new tools as well. But it's just really nice little old tool. This one needs a little bit of love. So I'm probably going to take it apart and clean it up and oil it up and everything to make sure it's working a little bit better. But here we go. And here's something interesting. Vulcan, I had a Vulcan ratchet before, which was an S52. It's half-inch ratchet. It's gold in color. Now I got this as part of an auction that I went to. There's the Golden Vulcan S52 ratchet wrench, and I guess it works with this. I'm gonna try to put this down so I don't make too much noise. The 1990 Gold Tool Award. Now I've never seen anything like this. It's from Chrysler Corporation for Master Technicians. Check this stuff out. You got this like crow's foot deal or and some sockets. They're all gold inside there. It's pretty cool stuff. It has like the 3/8, so I guess it's really neat. I've never seen anything like this before, and I guess automotive guys may recognize this, but it's just this 1990 Gold Tool Award from Chrysler. I think it's pretty cool. So let me see what else I have here. Like I'm testing the cutoff tools now. I was going to show you guys that too. I'll be testing. HyperTough has been like a major thing that I've been testing because they have a new line of tools. And anyone that knows HyperTough knows that before, like the last couple of years, it's complete awful garbage. And now they come out with all these brushless tools, and some of them are pretty decent for like around the house tools. So I was just so curious about it. I said, well, we're going to test each one of them, one after the other. And I like to compare. So, I mean, we've got HyperTough here. I'm going to compare it with Craftsman cutoff tool. And also a Cobalt cutoff tool because I was at Lowe's, I guess. I was going full Lowe's. Is that gold wrench the MAGA edition? No, that gold wrench came out way before MAGA. Probably came out closer to the 1987 Donald Trump interview where they asked him about the presidency. It's probably closer to that. Oh, here's one more thing. It's an axe, but it's a cool... Let me see if I can bring it up to the... If you can see it. It's Craftsman, like a vintage Craftsman axe. USA made beast right here. I sharpened it up. I restained the handle. And man, you could just reenact The Shining with this thing. It's like, here's Zachy. It's a lot of fun. So I have a ton of old tools. I don't show the old tools on the other channel. The other channel, Zach's in the Shop. I usually test newer power tools. But if you ever see like the Facebook post from Zach's Tool Shop, it's a shop I have in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's like it's a vendor mall, but I have two large spots. So it's like a 200 square foot spot. It's just a lot of vintage tools, a lot of just tool deals that I found. I like to offer people like power tools at a nice reduced price. So I search for deals like the Cobalt thing here. This Cobalt tool, I think usually costs like 99 bucks regular price, but there was some kind of killer one-day deal at Lowe's, and for $79 you got that, 2 batteries, a charger, and a toolbox. So I got that deal just so I could test it out. I've already sent the toolbox to the shop, and I end up selling all of them. So the idea is that hopefully I can make a living or more of a living while providing people with something that they want, which is discount power tools that are actually new and vintage tools. So I got to kind of search around for the vintage tools. I wish I could take you guys through all the stuff on the socket wall, but it would take too long. I'm looking at some sweet S&K impact sockets. I see Proto. I love Proto. When I see S&K, when I see Proto, when I see Snap-on and Mac and Matco, I know that just great tools, a lot of automotive stuff, but it's just exciting. Craftsman USA. I have so many different lines of Craftsman USA sockets. I got V's, double E's, G's. There's just so many different ones from so many different years, and I'm trying to line them all up together. Talk about pulling your hair out, but it is so much fun. Putting together the old USA made screwdrivers I can see over here from Craftsman and Stanley and names like that. And when you go back in time, you say like Stanley, you say Stanley, that yellow plastic miter box? Well, Stanley wasn't always the yellow plastic miter box. If you go back in time, you got some real quality U.S. tools. A lot of times when you back things up here, you'll find some really awesome stuff. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking at a pile of saws right here to my left. I'll use the golden socket. Oh, no. Expecto Patronus. Expecto Patronum? I didn't watch Harry Potter that closely, guys, so I'm sorry. I thought it was a good movie, though. I just love the tools. I can see some of the stuff over there. I'll gather some next time we have a talk, and I'll show you guys. It's just awesome. Let's see. We have I think it might be interesting to launch the Zach coin. You never know. I don't think that's an interesting or good idea at all. I think we should all get Dogecoins. I saw a machete at Home Depot the other day. I didn't need it, but I want it for no reason. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show you guys a machete that I redid. It was a Crocodile brand machete. I think it's Crocodile, not Alligator. I cannot remember, to be honest. I think it's Crocodile brand machete. Beautiful old machete with a wooden handle. I redid it for my dad for Christmas. Of course, it's gone now. Socket wall, Clint. Socket wall. I will tell you what, just for you, Clint, you know, we got Stanley sockets, vintage sockets. We have just so many different craftsmen. I'm just looking over here. We have DeWalt, and the DeWalt ones are relatively new. Proto, oh my gosh, the Proto, just so good. Thorson, S&K. I sold the Snap-on. If you have something that says Snap-on on it, it sells real fast. Really, really fast. In fact, I just put in the shop this really old Snap-on inspection mirror with the little push button that causes the mirror to turn up so you can kind of stick it down into the engine and kind of hit the button so you can see something. Really awesome. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, man, I want to keep it so bad. But you can't keep it because it's about making a living and about giving people that cool thing they've been looking for, or maybe it's for their dad. I like to put tools out in the shop that can work still. I don't like stuff that you just go hang on the wall. Every now and then there's something like that. You have some really vintage like twist drills where you like the T-handle twist drill, like an auger. No one's going to be using that. Or you have some like the hand drill. Some people might use a hand drill because they're like purists that don't want to use a drill. A couple days of that, we'll be using a drill. But I just love stuff like that. Most of it's ready to work. I think that's good. Foxbox says he has some SK sockets. They're super nice. Well, I will actually show you. I can reach the SK socket. Oh, come on. These big bad boys. And they were probably a different color back in the day. But this is SK 1 1/16 USA 46334. So just a big half-inch socket. Just the weight of this thing. Just using this thing must be so powerful just to use it. There's so many more up there. There's some impact sockets I just can't see. Like New Britain, names you don't see anymore. New Britain, I know Blue Point. People see Blue Point. There's just so many of them. I wish I could name them all. It seemed like there were some Matco ones that were resurfacing, and Matco's just like Mac and Snap-on. People are like, oh, I want it. I want that one. They will buy that thing super fast. And that's great. I want to keep them, but I can't do it. Okay. Guys, it's 7:21. I've been talking for a while. I'm going to get off here, but I'm going to try to see you again in a few days. I hope that you continue to stay subscribed. Hit the little button that tells you when I'm making videos, because it's last minute notice, so be vigilant. And I just had a lot of fun here talking to you guys. I'm going to get out of here, hit the standby button. I don't know what's going to happen there. Hopefully it plays the song again. And God bless all of you. God be with you, and I'll see you on the next one.
I used to have long hair, used to sing in a rock band, used to stay out all night long. Used to drink myself silly, go driving for hours, but now I'm moving on. Haven't played a gig since summertime. It's been 2 years since I've tasted wine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Drive real fast, heat to the nighttime, air and the breeze. Now I drive 55, wonder if I'm more alive. Have I forgotten to be free? Now it seems I'm a tired man, 19-year-old with 35-year-old hands. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. Other than that, I'm feeling fine. And feels lonely in this house. Oh, my friend, I have got to get out because I used to have long hair, race till my beer can was empty as my head. A good friend that beats you